Christmas trees. Gotta love them, right? Nothing says Christmas like Christmas trees. And here we have some Christmas tree ornaments. These are so simple and they are going to be whipped up super fast. You're going to want to make dozens and dozens of these. So I wanted to show you how they looked with different colors, okay? And some of them, this one's a little bit bigger than this one. And even changing up the yarn, I didn't even weave in my tails because I literally just finished making this one. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make this lovely Christmas tree, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so what you're gonna need for this is some yarn, green yarn, and some brown yarn for the bottom. Or if you want, you can make your tree in any color you want. I remember for a few years, I was completely obsessed with white Christmas trees. So you can absolutely make that in white or pink or whatever you want. This one, I used some yarn that had tinsel already in it. It was like a sparkly one. So go ahead and do that because it'll add a little bit of sparkle to your tree. Okay, look how lovely that looks. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make this one. They're both the same, it's just different yarn. Okay, so I'm going to show you on how to make it on this yarn because it's a little bit thicker and a little bit easier to see, but you can use any yarn that you want, okay, that you're comfortable with. Whatever hook size the yarn recommends, maybe go down a size or two. It's going to give you a tighter stitch, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my slip knot. And the hardest part of this is the beginning. It's just like the first two rows. And then after that, it's not so bad. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we have our slip knot and we're going to go ahead and we're going to chain one, two. We're going to chain two. Okay. Here's a chain one and here's a chain two. Okay. Simple enough. So good. So far, so good, right? Okay. Cool, cool, cool. All right, here we go. We're going to get started. Then you're going to take your hook and you're going to insert your hook into the second chain from the hook. Okay, so here is our first chain from the hook and here is our second chain. So the second chain is going to be the chain for this one that's closest to the knot. So here's my knot and here's the chain. I'm going to insert my hook into that second chain. Okay, so here is the loop that I had on my hook and here is the stitch that I was working. I'm doing this very slow because this is a very tricky part for beginners, but you can do it. Then you're going to yarn over and I'm using this finger to hold this loop here. And then you're going to, I'm holding the knot with these two fingers. I'm holding my knot and then I'm going to pull it through that stitch. And I now have two loops on my hook. And I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. And I've made a single crochet and I did that very slowly because it's really hard to see when you only have one stitch, okay? So it doesn't look like you've done anything, but you have, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain one, okay? And then I'm going to turn it. Carefully turn it. Okay, so the chain one is now on my right. I'm right-handed. So the chain one is now on this side. Okay, now I'm going to look for that stitch. You see the V right there? You see it? And I'm going to insert my hook under that V. I'm going to yarn over. I'm holding the loop with this finger and I'm going to pull it through that stitch. And I'm going to complete my single crochet. And I'm going to do that 2 more times. Okay, I'm going to insert this. So you see now you have a big hole there. You didn't do anything wrong. It should actually look like that. So then I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over and pull it through. I have 2 stitches, yarn over and pull it through. And one more time, okay? Insert my hook, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over and pull it through. 2. I now have made 3 single crochets in that space. See? Here's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 3 single crochets. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to turn it, and now my chain 1 is on the right side. And then what I'm going to do is now I have 3 stitches. You see the 3 V's? And I'm going to make 1 single crochet into each of those stitches. So I'm going to go under the V. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through. I have 2 loops, yarn over and pull it through 2. I'm going to look for my next stitch. I'm going to insert my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull it through the 2 loops, and I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to look for my last stitch. The last stitch is always the hardest to find. And there we go. I have it under both legs of the V, and I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. I have 2 loops. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. I now made 3 single crochets. Then I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to turn it, and now my chain 1 is on my right side again. Now this is going to be the right side of the work, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stitch marker anywhere here, and I'm going to tell you why. Anywhere you want. Whenever I get to this side of the work, I know it's going to be an increase row. So whenever I'm on this side, I'm going to increase. And when I'm on the other side, I'm just going to stitch across. This is how we do our increases. In the first stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochets in that first stitch. So here's my first single crochet. And here's my second single crochet. So I made my increase in my first stitch. Then in my next stitch, I'm just going to make my regular single crochet. And then in my last stitch, I'm going to increase again. I'm going to make 2 single crochets in this last stitch. So on the increase rows, you are going to increase on the first and last stitch. Okay, I increased, I did 2, and then I did a regular one, and then I did 2 for a total of 5. So you're going to increase by odd numbers, okay? So this side is our increase row. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, and then I'm going to turn it, and now my chain is on my right side, and my stitch marker is on the other side. So I know this is not an increase row. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet all the way across, okay? So here's 1. So you should have the same number that you had on the other side. Here's 2. And when you're starting, go ahead and count, because it's really easy to lose at that last stitch. Here's 3, or forget about it. Here's 4. And here's my last one. Here's 5. I'm going very slowly for beginners, because when you're beginning, it's really hard to learn all these new things. But if you a little bit more advanced, you can speed up the video and make it move a little bit faster. I'm going to chain 1. That's what I love about YouTube. Chain 1, and then I'm going to turn it, and my chain 1 is on my right side. I know I keep saying that, but it makes it easy to remember. Okay, I see my stitch marker. That means this is an increase row. So in the increase row, we're going to make 2 single crochets in the first stitch. Here's 1. I will speed up now. And here's 2. And then we're going to single crochet all the way across until we get to that last stitch. Okay, so then just single crochet all the way across. Then when you get to that last stitch, you're going to increase. Here's one, and here's two. Then I'm going to chain one, and I'm going to turn, and my chain one is now on my right side because I'm right-handed, and I don't see my stitch marker, so I'm just going to do a single crochet all the way across. And this is how you're going to make it, okay? But don't forget to count it every once in a while to make sure you don't forget a stitch. All right, and you should have an odd number. And if you made a mistake, it's not, it's not the end of the world. You can easily frog it, pull it out, and fix a row. And you can make these as big or as small as you want. Now you see I was talking and I looked down to see if I'm supposed to do the increase, and I am not, because I don't see my stitch marker. So it's helpful, okay? I'm going to chain one and I'm going to turn, okay? I'm going to do an increase round. So I'm going to go a little bit faster now, okay? And then I'm going to go across, and we're going to finish really soon. I just want you to see how quick these work up. Lots of traffic. Okay, and then this is an increase. So you're going to increase in the first and the last stitch, okay? And all that means is that you're just going to do 2 stitches in the same space. That's all that means, okay? Don't forget your chain one. It helps keep the edges nice and smooth, even. And then you're just going to crochet across. Now you can use any yarn you want, a thick yarn, a thin yarn, a thread, but don't do hair. My hair in here. Okay, you can double strand. You can strand it with some glitter yarn or whatever if you like. And you can make big or small. I think I'm going to stop after this row. I like to end it on a non-increase row. Okay, I don't know why, I just think that it looks better. All right, so I think I'm going to end it at this row. And I know it's small, but it's a good size. So this is going to be the top of your tree. And then I'm going to do my last one. And again, you can, so if you're going to keep going, remember, you're going to chain one, you're going to turn, you're going to increase in the first and the last stitch. And then you're going to chain one and turn it. And then the next row is not going to be an increase. Okay. So I'm going to finish this off. This is going to be a smaller one because I want to show you how to go ahead and make the bottom part. Okay, so here's another thing I forgot to say. So when you're starting, you can make this tail longer if you want, so that you can use it to make a loop to hang up your tree. Okay, so just go ahead when you're starting, make the tail a little bit longer. All right, and you can tie that in or glue it in or however you want. That's if you want the loop on the top. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make the bottom. Okay, so for the bottom, you're just going to need some brown yarn. Let me find my brown yarn right here. And any yarn will do. Okay, and if you find, so you see this tree is a little bit floppy. So what I'm going to do is once I've made a whole bunch of them, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mix some glue and water, and I'm going to put it in the glue and water, squeeze out the excess, and then lay it flat, like pin it out and lay it flat and let it dry. I'll go ahead and make a video about that when I've made a few more, okay? So that's how you can stiffen. So if you really want to use a really soft yarn, don't be scared to go right ahead and do that. So let me count how many stitches we have now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. We have 9. We should have an odd number. We have 9, okay? So I'm going to go in 3. Okay, I'm going to go in 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go into the 4th one because I want it right in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to go into the 4th stitch. Now you decide where you want yours. This is just where I want mine. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my hook from the front to the back. I'm going to put my tail in the back. You see the tail is hanging out there. I'm going to yarn over and I'm just going to pull it through. And then I'm going to chain 1 and that's going to lock it in there. Okay? I like to crochet over my stitches, over my tails, so I don't have to weave them in later. And then I'm going to do half double crochet, okay? Just to give the stem part a different texture, a different look, okay? So for half double crochet, you're going to yarn over, insert it into the stitch, yarn over, pull it through. I have 3 loops on my hook, right? Then I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull it through all 3 loops. You could use a completely different yarn if you want. You can use a much thicker yarn or a thinner yarn or whatever. And you could do whatever color you want. This is yours, okay? So we're going to yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch, pull it through, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, and complete our, this is called the half double crochet. And I'm going to do one more. I'm going to find the next stitch, pull it through, 3 loops, and pull it through all 3. This is my half double, okay? So I like to keep things, excuse me, simple. So this is 9 stitches. So I did a third of that, right? So I have 3 stitches and they're right smack in the center, okay? If you have more, your number might be different. You might want to do 4 or 5 or whatever, depending on the size of your tree. So I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to turn it. And then I'm going to do a half double crochet in the next, again, in the next 3 stitches, 1 in each. So here's 1 half double crochet. Here's 2 half double crochets. And here's 3 half double crochets. Now look for the V. Make sure you grab that last stitch. And I'm done. I am done. Look how fast this was. You can make this longer if you want. You know, I'm just stopping at 2. You can make it 3 or 4, whatever you want. And if you don't want to do a half double crochet, you can absolutely do a single crochet in this, okay? All right. And I'm going to, so this was the increase round. I'm going to take my stitch marker out. And then you have your tree. Isn't that cute? And you can go ahead and make as many as you want. If you want, you can make a chain and add it to the top. Or like I said, make this tail a little bit longer. All right, and then you can just tie it onto the top, and you're going to have a loop that you can hang on your Christmas tree or by some garland or whatever. Okay, so let me know in the comments, how many of these did you make and how long did it take you once you got into it? The first one's going to take you a while, but after that you're going to whip through these. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed. So I'm going to do a video on how to make that glue. Okay, and I'm gonna also have some other great Christmas ornaments if you want, so you can go ahead and click here or here, and I will see you next time. Te veo. Bye.